The idea is, though, is that you need to figure out what channel on social media is the best place to put your efforts to.
Welcome back to another episode of Digital Dominance. Social media seems to be taking over our lives, but can we turn it into a good thing? Something that helps to grow your business? The concept of social media is great. It's a way to stay connected to people virtually when we are physically apart, a way to stay informed and share things that we care about and enjoy. But as we all know, it's very easy to get sucked into the vortex of the news feed, and that's no way to spend your time if you're trying to grow a business. You need to be on the other side of the equation, the one creating the content, the one that people are learning from and following. My guest today is Coach Danny D. He's a LinkedIn coach and a content strategist who has gotten really good at helping busy business owners make video clips they can share online. We're going to talk about LinkedIn, social selling, and maybe even personal branding. So welcome to the show, Danny. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited, ready to chat a little bit about LinkedIn. And yeah, I think we'll probably get into personal branding because that's kind of the force behind the whole thing, right?
Yeah, it kind of ties it all together. We'll have to mention the hat as well, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a part of the branding for sure.
Definitely. Well, I always love seeing your posts because you are walking the walk and your posts always have helpful and interesting information and you're consistent. Has video content and social media always come naturally to you, or was it something you had to learn?
I don't know, like anything else. I mean, you definitely have to learn it. I There was a couple things that came naturally to me. I had done podcasting for a while. That's how I got into content creation. So that's sort of where I learned to make some just get myself out there, right? That was the idea. It was like, let me just figure out how to get myself out there. And I started that through podcasting. And then I realized, like, okay, so how do I get people to listen to my podcast? Well, I need to promote it. And that's where social media came in. And that's how I started to learn how to do social media, was all because I was trying to promote this podcast that I had. And it definitely took a while of me fumbling around and making a lot of mistakes, but ultimately I figured out how to do it, and I'm still learning. Obviously, I mean it's such a ever changing dynamic social media, so always continuing to learn and continuing to take bits and pieces from people that I like and that inspire me, and just continue to level up.
Awesome. Well, and another question might be, can anybody learn it, right? Do you have to be extroverted or tech savvy? What about business owners who are super busy?
Yeah, they can get into social media too, right? They may not want to. They may not have the time and effort to put into it, but they're they have to determine whether it's a worthy investment for them, right? And at this point, with how many people are consuming content on social media platforms versus other types of mediums, like even watching TV these days, it seems like more people are spending time, scrolling through Instagram and TikTok or YouTube than they actually spend watching like a TV show or reading a newspaper or any of these things, right? So a business really needs to determine, like, is social media the right investment for me, and then like, can I make time to put into it? But then there's also ways for you to outsource, whether it's your content or whether it's some of the posting and engagement that you need to be doing to kind of amplify the content on social media. There are ways to outsource it for business owners. So, without spending like tons of money to hire like a full service marketing agency.
Gotcha. And you mentioned you should decide if it's a good investment of your time, but how does a business owner decide that? Are there some criteria they can use to determine if it's a good fit for their particular business model?
So I'm going to say it's a good fit for everybody's business model. Okay. The idea is, though, is that you need to figure out what channel on social media is the best place to put your efforts to, right? So a, if you are selling a product to homeschool moms, right? Or you are selling your programs, or you're selling a product to executives in the B2B tech space. You're going to be playing in two different channels, right? You're going to be playing like the mom stuff like is going to work in Facebook, and maybe you should be putting your efforts into going into mom Facebook groups, maybe building your brand on Instagram. Whereas if you are looking for B2B CEOs in the tech space, you want to be focused on LinkedIn, right? So as long like for every business owner out there, your customers are on social media. Like with how many billions of people are on social media, it's like, I don't know, something like more than half the world's population or something at this point is on social media. So now it's just a matter of figuring out where your customers are hanging out. And once you can pinpoint that, then you can go from there and figure out, what the strategy is.
Right. So you need to know your audience and then go wherever they happen to be. So you can't just say, "Oh, I could help everybody," and then just post it. That's not going to work. But what about repurposing the same content for all the platforms? Is there a reason to do that if you don't think your audience is on any of the other platforms?
So there's multiple schools of thought on this, right? If you have the capability to repurpose your content across multiple platforms, it might make sense to be able to do so. If you have the resources and the capabilities, and you're a big business, like you may have the ability to do that. As a small business, it's not as easy to repurpose your content across multiple platforms. So my suggestion is usually this. It's if you can put your content everywhere, go for it, right? However, you can only focus on one platform to start. And when I say focus on that one platform is you can only focus on building a community and engaging and putting in like daily activity to amplify that content so that more people see it. You will burn yourself out if you are trying to do that across multiple platforms. So what I would say is go start with one, go all in on that one as you get to kind of but put your content on all of them. And then as you see how your content performs across all these platforms, it will help you to determine like, hey, you know what? It seems like I'm getting a lot of interest over here. Maybe I should put a little bit more effort into it over here. Um, but I would always say to start going all in on one that is proven to have your audience.
Okay, so then let's say we've picked a platform. We're going to go focus just on that one. How does someone decide what their content should be? They've decided, okay, I need to make content and I need to post it here, but do people care about, how I dry clean the shirts, or do they care about, this roofing job? What do you talk about? Because a lot of people don't know where to start.
Yeah, sure. So what you want to talk about is you want to ask your clients. That's how you get the information. Is like, or that's how you know what to post. Is you go out and ask your clients, if I were to share things on social media, what would you want to learn from me? And you focus on what are the things that they're looking for. You're focusing on what problems that you solve for your potential clients. So, for example, like if you're a dry cleaner and you tell me, like, hey, I'm going to get your wine stain out of your white tablecloth, like the person that has a wine stain on their white tablecloth is going to be like, I'm going to that dry cleaner, right? So it's when you can speak to the problems that your clients are having, and and you can offer solutions to those problems, and you can create content around the solutions that you have for those problems. That's how you're going to attract the people to you, because if they have the problem, they want their problem solved, and if you're the person that can do it, and you're the person that's visible and talking about how you can do it.
Yeah. Well, and I like that example because you focused on the person, the use case, right? So instead of just focusing on the techniques or like, this is my dry cleaning machine, extractor 5,000, only maybe other dry cleaners cares, but your clients won't care, but they will care about the stain and getting that out, right? So that's a good example.
So people, I do like profiles for people all the time, and basically when I tell people like your profile headline needs to answer two questions. It needs to answer, oh my God, I got the balloons coming up in here. No, that's an Apple thing, by the way. So um, anyway, your profile needs to answer two questions. Number one is it needs to answer who is it that you're helping. So who do you want to come out and view your profile? Who is the ideal client, right? And then the other thing they need to answer is what is the result that they're going to achieve? The process and all that, like the how doesn't matter. What matters is who you are targeting and what do they get from you. That's it.
Got it. So then the next natural question is, what if you don't have a following yet? Will anyone even see the posts?
That it's more, it takes more work. um, so I think this is the common thing that business owners see is like business owners think like, hey, I am going to post this content, right? And then a bunch of people are just going to find me. And like, this is not really the way it works. What you need to do is you need to amplify your content. And the way that you amplify your content is through community. The way you get more eyes on your content is through building a community on the platform. So let's go back to that dry cleaner again, right? So that dry cleaner, they may also be, people that go to the dry cleaner. Well, they also go to the deli down the block, and they also go to the bank, and they also go to they use the plumber or the local contractor, or they even go to the local school. Their kids go to the local school, right? So if that dry cleaner starts to engage with the posts from the plumber and from the bank and from the everybody else in the community, in the local community, now what they are doing is because they're engaging on that content, the other people in the local community also want to go ahead and they're the rule of reciprocity. They want to go and return the favor. So what then happens is they will go and comment and like and share the posts of the dry cleaner, right? So now what's happening is because the local school is engaging with it, then parents from the local school see that the local school account is engaging with the dry cleaner, and they say, "Oh, this dry cleaner is approved by the local community school. That's the one that I'm going to go to." Right? So essentially, what you need to do is you need to engage with little communities, right? So the example that I used was local, right? But for example, for you, you're a marketing guy. You do websites, right? I'm a social media guy. I help with social media and help with video content creation. So you and I, we both service similar clients, but we do it in different ways, right? We're both helping them get themselves out there, but we're doing it in different ways. So if you were to come and support my content on LinkedIn and I was to support your content on LinkedIn, just obviously throwing that out there as the platform because that's my preferred platform. What's going to happen is it's going to get more my content is going to get more eyes because you support me. Your content's going to go get more eyes because I'm supporting you. And we may not have like the need to do business with each other. But because we are part of the marketing community, we're in the same niche, we kind of work with some of the same clients, and we are supporting each other. We are help amplifying and getting our messages out to more of the people that we want to see the messages.
Right. So if you're starting from nothing, you can kind of piggyback off the audience of others in your space or community to kind of grow your following over time. So I'll expand on that example with the local dry cleaners. So let's say they make a video about the high school flag got dropped in the mud after the football game. It's some special material. Hey, we got this flag from the high school. We got to clean this up. I'm going to do XYZ. Look, good as new, right? Okay, that's a crossover content, right? They're going to share that. Wow, that's great. I didn't know you were in this community. I've got some stuff you could clean, right? And so it kind of gets that ball rolling.
Totally. Yeah. And like the opportunity for collaboration is huge too, right? I mean, what are you doing right now? You reached out to me to be on this podcast, right? So now what's going to ultimately happen is I have a different audience than you, right? But when I go and I share this podcast to my audience, this is going to open up my audience to now be introduced to you. This is how we get ourselves out there. This is it. This is how we open ourselves up to. So collaboration can be a really effective way to do that. So for example, like, dry clean, you said dry cleaner in the school. Like, what about dry cleaner and a landscaper, right? They got like the local landscaper is like, they get their everything's covered in dirt and they got these uniforms that they want to clean, but they always bring them to that same dry cleaner. And this way their guys show up to the next landscaping job all fresh and clean. And then we do a post about it. And then we do a collab post on it. So now you get now both audiences are seeing that same post. It's a beautiful opportunity. Collaboration is one of the best ways to start building an audience and expand and getting new eyes on your content.
All right. And I think the more you do it, the more you see these opportunities, right? And start coming up with these ideas of ways you can grow that following. So let me ask real quick for the business owner who's like, okay, I get how you do all this stuff. I know it's good. More people can see your business stuff, but what is the tangible benefit for the business of doing video content? Can you measure an ROI for the time and effort that goes into creating good content? And if so, how long is it going to take? Right? Because I know so many business owners are focused on this month's revenue and expenses. And if we're trying to map out this long-term content strategy, it's hard to get them on board with that in a lot of cases. So what are your thoughts there?
Yeah. So again, the brand building kind of situation is a long game, right? Like building your brand through content online is definitely a long game. However, there are ways that you can use these tools to speed up the process, so to speak, right? So what happens is like now you create a post and 20 people go and like that post, right? Now, if you're the local dry cleaner, you can go to all those people that liked your post and you can say to them, hey, thank you so much for supporting our post today. And are you in the community? Are you here in this community? And that person in turn says, yes, I actually am in this community. Oh, great. Here's a 10% off coupon so that for when you come back. So now what you're doing is like what you need to do is you need to look for any type of opportunity to reach out and connect with the people that are engaging with you. And if you take advantage of the opportunities that you are getting, whether that's people liked your post, whether that's they viewed your profile, maybe they shared something on their account, you need to go out and capitalize on the content. If you are going out and proactively doing that, capitalizing on it, you can very much get like speed up the ROI on you creating the content. But if you are just sitting back and waiting for everything to kind of happen and build on its own, I'm not saying that you won't get inbound leads. You can, but it takes a lot more time and a lot more patience and a lot more investment than if you are proactive about it.
Right. I'm glad that you mentioned that because that is the mentality sometimes is like, okay, I posted my first video. All right. Do I have customers yet? And you've got to take, like you said, look at the likes coming in. Don't just say, oh, that felt good to get 20 likes. Go talk to them. Say, hey, thanks for visiting. Did you like the video? Is there anything I can help you with? Offer them a discount, like you said. Sometimes they say, oh, yeah, cool. I didn't know that this was still open. I'd sign up. Or they might say, it was a funny video, but I'd never go to a dry cleaner with a ketchup stain on his shirt. And you're like, oh, guess I should change my shirt for the next video, right? Whatever it is, whether it's feedback or a new client or something, you learn something, you move forward. And so that's a big part of it.
Totally. Yeah. I think, I kind of was mentioning it before. I think that's where most people kind of mess up is they just put content out there. And then the idea is it's like the hope method. It's like they put content out there and hope people come to them. It's like, no, go out there. Like people are going to come to you. But they're not going to come to you directly, like ready to buy. So what you need to do is you need to start taking every single opportunity to build a relationship with the people that are seeing what you're putting out there and the people that are interacting with you. And like as you start to build rapport, you start to build trust. Like I'll give you an example. Like last month, in the month of December, I closed 14 clients that I did not need to get on a sales call for. Right. And we're talking about high ticket services, like anywhere from like on the low end, like $750 up to $5,000. And I did not have to get on the sales call with these people. But why? Because one, I've been creating content on LinkedIn for a year and like video content. So people have seen me in their feed for a year and they've seen that I am somebody that obviously knows what they're talking about. And they start to build some familiarity. They start to build some connection. They start to build some credibility and trust with me before I ever speak to them. So, and then when I proactively reach out to them, when they connect with me, and I send them a personalized welcome message, like a voice message, by the way, is my typical process. I will send them a personalized welcome message saying, thank you so much for connecting with me. I really do appreciate it. And if I can ever be a resource for you, don't hesitate to reach out. And then at that point, they say, well, hey, you know what? I've been following you for a couple months now, and I was actually wanted to get some information about the video service. Oh, cool. That's awesome. But if I didn't go and do that like proactive outreach and say to them, thank you for connecting and sending that personalized message, half of those people would have never come to me on their own. So that's why, so again, this is another example of like how you can be proactive and how that could potentially help you increase the speed at which you are seeing a return on investment on your content.
Right. But at the same time, it's think about dating, right? You're not going to ask them to marry you on the first date. You're going to get turned down 99.99% of the time. But like you said, if someone's following you for a couple months, they are in their head, they are learning more about you and trusting you. And so when you finally do connect with them, then it's a much easier sell. It's not even a sell at that point. They're just like, okay, I'm ready. Right.
Exactly. It's like I said this too. It's like I don't really have to sell. I just like I don't even need to get on a sales call. I send a voice message and I say, hey, thank you so much for reaching out about the video package. Here is my website. Here is all the information. There's testimonials, there's samples, there's everything on there. Reach back out to me and let me know what questions you have. And half the time they just buy it then. They just the prices and the sign up link is on the website. They just go ahead and buy it, and then they'll reach back out to me in the DMs and be like, "Hey, I signed up for the package." I'm like, great, that's awesome.
Yeah, we got to get out of that viral mentality of hoping that this is going to go viral. I'll get millions of views and then I'll get all these customers, right? It's not that easy. You've got to have a plan, which it's simple. Like you said, like post stuff, follow up with people, repeat, stick with it.
I've posted every day for like in 2023. I posted every day, 365 days on LinkedIn. I did not miss. I think I missed a couple of days, but because I got sick or whatever. But in those, there's other days that I posted twice. So if you kind of take the average of it, I put over 365 posts up last year on LinkedIn, right? There was a good period of time where I got nothing. Like it took 5-6 months before people started to really build that trust and credibility with me. Before like people were starting to come to me with that inbound kind of mentality. But again, it's so worth the investment because to be honest with you, most people hate doing the sales part of it. Like they hate like getting on sales calls and like it's kind of awkward and they have to really they have to go out and sell. For me, I jump and if I do have to get on a sales call, it's very cool. It's like, cool, what questions do you have about the video service? Just shoot. You've already seen like you know what I do? Like you got an idea of who I am? Just what questions do you have?
It's more natural, not forced. Yeah, and thank you for sharing all that about how long it took you to get some traction too, because that helps give people realistic expectations of what they're getting into. It's not going to be famous tomorrow with all these clients pouring in who recognize you and your brand, but it's something you can build up over time that does make your life easier and does make your business more money. So we're coming at the end of our time
Wait,
here,
hold on
Danny.
one second. You mentioned one thing about viral, and I was going somewhere with that 365 days of posting. So I posted every day for 365 days. I did not have one post go viral. I still grew. I still grew over 10,000 followers. Like I started the year with 2,000 or something like that, and I finished the year with 13,000. Right. So I still grew following of 10,000 people. I still was able to reach 1 million people. Like I reached over I had, LinkedIn measures impressions on your content. That's how many people have viewed your content. Over 1 million people viewed my content over the course of 2023. I had zero posts go viral. And like, so
Yeah, it's not necessary.
yeah, people kind of think like kind of depend on that. Like they say, oh, you know what, I'm going to go viral, and that's how I'm going to get myself out there. That's not the best way to get yourself out there, because when you go viral, you go out to the masses, you go out to like everybody, right? But when you are creating content that is more targeted towards your specific audience that you are looking to put your information out to, like going viral doesn't really help you at all, because it's giving you a bunch of views from people that don't really matter to you.
Right. It's a flash in the pan. It's not a long-term thing that's going to help you keep your business growing.
Right. It's fun and it's this dopamine hit, but it's like it's not much other than that. It doesn't give you like any type of credibility.
Yeah. All right. Well, I love this stuff. We could keep talking about it, Danny, but we are at the end of our time here. So thank you for sharing your wisdom and your experience with us. My friend Barry Cohen is always repeating the maxim publish or perish. And this used to be something that only academics had to worry about. But as our economy becomes increasingly digital, we as business owners have to adopt that same mentality for social media. So, guys, if you're not sure where to start, Danny has a free 7-day video challenge to get you moving. So check out the links in the description to connect with him as soon as you finish this episode. Danny, any last words before we close out?
Now, the only thing that I would tell people is it is a good investment. It's definitely worth your time. It's all about finding out where your audience is hanging out, meeting them there, speaking to them directly into the problems that they have, and then again, just putting in like a little bit of extra effort when it comes to your daily activities to help you kind of amplify that message out there. And if you do it and you follow the program, you're gonna get business. It's inevitable.
All right, there you have it, folks. Thanks again, Danny, for being here. Thanks to all of you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.